something I've been thinking about. You know, somebody proposed to me a question a long time ago, years ago, and I was talking to my nephew last night, and he was talking about how a lot of young men his age just like don't want to do anything. They don't want to go out and do anything because they're just on their phones or they're watch TV or on the computer or something. And it just reminded me of something somebody said to me years ago. And it was Jeremiah. I will say right away, this is not very good scripture reading, so don't read it like this, but it's a fascinating thought nonetheless. This is Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 21. Well, we'll start in 20. It says this, "Now hear the word of the Lord, O you women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth. Teach your daughters wailing, and every one of her neighbor a dirge. For death has come up through our windows. It has entered our palaces to cut off the children from the streets, the young men from the town squares." And the thought was this. I remember somebody being like, well, I wonder, death has climbed in your windows. If you're an ancient person and the Lord showed you like a phone or a television, what would it look like to you? It would look like a window. And he said, well, what if death climbing in your windows and it's stealing the young men from the public squares and making the women, and God is telling them to lament for the loss of all their young men. And I remember that stuck with me because I said, that is such an interesting thought. Death has climbed in through your windows and it's stealing the young men. And I think that, it's probably not a proper reading of this passage, but it is still a fascinating thought, and I think there's still truth to it. How many of you, even right now on this app, are wasting away, not in any social relationships, if you're a young man especially, not going out being with your friends. Instead, you'd rather just sit at home. You get home from work, you're just like, you're unmotivated. As a man, you are made for responsibility. You weren't made to look through windows, because that's where death will climb in. And so I just have been thinking about that and reminded of that thing from a long time ago. So, something to think about.